Hey guys, I'm a little bit late. Sorry for joining so late. Hope you're having an awesome day and evening. Are we in snow or in the sun, wherever you're tuning in from? Give me a comment below. In the comments below, tell me where you're joining in from. In my Make Life Delicious VIP community page. I love you guys. You are my VIPs. And tonight, I'm joining you live to talk about making life more delicious through deeply nourishing, through laughter and play. So I would love this to be interactive. So I know I can't see you or hear you, but if you can chat into the comments below my video that's playing and tell me where you're tuning in from and respond to my questions, that would be awesome, so that it's a two-way conversation as much as possible. So I wanted to tell you about deep nourishment, and I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. I was trying to keep the music fun and amped up because the topic tonight is about laughter and play. And I know in the midst of the pandemic, in the midst of all that's going on with you guys right now, there's still a lot of fear, there's still a lot of frustration with the pandemic. And people are trying to find their way. And so give me an idea, Make Life Delicious community, whether you're watching on the replay or you're joining me live here. What are some of the challenges that you have right now? How difficult is it to get laughter in during the day, during your everydays? Give me a comment below if you don't mind. How difficult is it to bring laughter and play into your every single day? I know for certain that the clients who I work with, in terms of coming to me for nutritional weight loss or changing their health around, no matter what the problem is that they come in with, that those people who are more stressed, who are operating from fear and less freedom and less joy in their life, it's difficult for them to actually lose weight. It's difficult for them to have more self-care. And it's difficult for them to just even go through the day with enthusiasm and inspiration. So if you're joining me live here, just literally chat into the comment section where you're tuning in from and what your challenges have been over the last week, over the last few months, in terms of bringing more deeply nourishing activities. In the work that I do, I have this exercise with my private coaching clients. It's called the circle of life. So there are many aspects of our life that we have to have in checks and balances on, and that includes our career, our jobs, or if you're retired, even family, taking care of grandchildren, being a part of a church community, being a part of your own community. And so there are a lot of things that we have put on ourselves, on our plate, that is always difficult to manage on a day-to-day basis, because sometimes our plates are overly full, right? And when we operate from fear and limitations, we have difficulty really expanding our mind and our consciousness to opening up energy. And when we open up energy, we're able to produce more, we're more capable in terms of being creative and coming up with ideas. And I know in a mindset of scarcity and a mindset of fear, our options kind of are very narrow in terms of what's before us. So let me ask you this. So deep nourishment, and this is off the plate, right? So deep nourishment, I'm not talking just about nourishment in terms of the food you should eat. I'm talking about deep nourishment in terms of laughter and play. Believe it or not, that's just as important to your healing journey. That's just as important to really being able to turn your health around, live a magnificent life, live out your dreams, you know, into retirement, into building a legacy for your family, and leaving a footprint into this world in terms of having a bigger purpose to what you want to accomplish and what you dream of. So so I want you to think about that. I know I haven't joined you guys live in a while, but I promise I'm gonna do more of that because, well, actually, I have this whole lineup over, uh, the month of February because it's the month of love, and I've declared it as the month of love. And I have almost daily interviews with a variety of experts coming in from different perspectives to talk to us about what self-care means and how you can change self-care and self-love intuitively and naturally without having to contrive it, in terms of playing a game or in terms of having to organize your life around that, but having it a part of your lifestyle as a natural part of what you do and how you live. And that's so important. So deep nourishment is nourishment that's off the plate. And whatever aspect of our life, whether it be work or community or family or our jobs and our careers, our businesses, we want to be able to have 360 degrees of being fulfilled in those areas. And you're saying, how the heck can I be fulfilled in all those areas all at once? Um, this is this community is about changing habits. It's about changing your mindset in order to achieve unstoppable health and the kind of health that you want to live, without limitations, with full freedom to do the things that you want to bring joy into your life with, in terms of engaging with your families, being able to travel once the pandemic is over, all of that. So I want you to think about, what does deep nourishment mean to you? What does deep nourishment mean to you? So sometimes deep nourishment can be a simple thing as, connecting with your spouses, connecting with your friends, saying, I love you. One of the things that I loved about my dad when he was living, he was never afraid to say I love you. And growing up in a Korean American family, I was a first generation American, and growing up in a Korean American family, we weren't really expressive of love. And I don't know, some families are one way or another, but saying I love you wasn't a natural thing for most Korean American families. They did their work and they, basically went through all these things, but just saying I love you means so much. And I remember in many of the days towards his latter days in his stage 4 cancer journey, every day was about saying I love you. I love you. I love you, Tina. I love you, Dad. And just saying that means so much. It just says that I'm supported, I'm cared for, I am feeling heard. And we all, as human design, as we are designed by God, fundamentally, we all need to feel acknowledged, heard. We need to be seen. And oftentimes, when we are living alone, when we are disconnected, especially in the midst of this pandemic, we're not hearing those words. So I encourage you, that is a huge thing, to just pick up the phone to your loved ones and just say, I was thinking about you and I just wanted to say I love you. I really do love you and I really appreciate you and I hear you. Oh, thanks, Risa. I love you too. So that word, those three words mean so much. And if you're not using those three words enough, I encourage you to pick up the phone tonight or pick up the phone tomorrow morning before you get your day started, or check in with your spouse and check in with your kids. And I'm sure you're more frequent with saying I love you to your kids, but think about those people who really need to hear that. You know, it gives us joy when we give joy. It gives us deep nourishment when we have filled the lives and hearts of other people. I mean, that's part of the reason what I'm doing right now as a health coach is really helping people really live out their life as fully as possible in every way. And so just saying the three words "I love you" is a big deal. That's a deeply nourishing act. And getting beyond fear, getting beyond our own mucky muck, and forgiveness. Forgiveness is an act of love. Forgiveness is an act of deep nourishment. Because when you are forgiving of whatever resentments you may be holding on to, that is letting go and making space for deeply nourishing activities such as laughter and play. So when you let go and allow more space by letting go of those rocks and boulders you've been carrying around your back for years and years, just think about what are those rocks and boulders. So in order to have a deeply nourishing life that's off your plate, getting rid of those boulders on your back, those resentments, those angers, those, what you did to me was wrong, those feelings, letting that go is a huge burden off your back. And it's making space for abundance, making space for creativity, making space for expansion. And there's this book here, I'll show you this book. There's this book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Joe Dispenza. And if it's a little bit, like it's a self-help book basically, but what he talks about is, in order to break the habit of being yourself, what you want to do is create space. What you want to do is not live in the moment of fear, not live in a state of constant worry or scarcity. When we live in our past, when we live in our resentments, then basically we are not making the room that we need to think of a new future and create expansion. When we are in stress mode physically, our physiological body response is to our arteries constrict, our pupils get dilated, our heart rate changes. All of these things physiologically changes us when we are in fear and when we are in stress mode. So I want you to think about, check in with yourself right now. Where are you holding your tension? We did the loving kindness meditation. I hope that was helpful for you guys and that you actually utilize that tool. But think about this, like what about, where are you holding on to stress? Are you noticing that you're in a contractionary mode? And if you are even for an inkling thinking that you may be holding on to some kind of resentment, think of what kind of space that can actually unfold for you. And in this book, he talks about how when we change our subconscious in our thinking patterns and our limiting beliefs and our beliefs, our anger, our sadness, or heartbreak, many people live with heartbreak for years and years. Maybe they've lost their spouses. You know, some people might be holding that grief for a long time. And that holding that grief for a long time actually ends up being space, that those boulders that are blocking our ability to think new ways, think, you know, expansively, think, create alternative options. You know, in my corporate life, you know, I was building innovation products, right? So like I was always in this mindset of creativity. And you need to expand beyond your boundaries that you're normally comfortable with in order to generate more options. So when I was you know, doing research for Master Lock, you know, the padlock company, I actually did a project for them many years ago. And we got to interview all these people who actually used padlocks. This is totally an aside from nourishment and play and laughter, but just wanted to tell you this brief story is that, you know, it's the same thing. Like when we, you know, companies don't design products out of a vacuum. They design products, new innovation, expansive ideas, new ways of thinking, new invention happens when you go outside of the box. When you go out to talk to hunters and say, how do you lock up your boat? How do you lock up your, you know, gun? You know, like we did some live interviews where we had to fly to Florida and talk to these hunters and really get into their world about how they lock things up. So think about that in that kind of, it's, you know, that was the kind of work that I used to do, and it was fun for a while, but then it got way too corporate, and this is living my purpose as a coach. So I want to help you design a life that's totally fulfilling and unstoppable, and the way you want to design your life, where you want to feel empowered, not what the doctors necessarily say to you, because the doctor medicine today in our healthcare system um, is emergency medicine. It's emergency medicine. So what you do right now in your midlife or in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and even into your 70s determines the quality of life in your 80s and 90s. So I always talk about that. What you want to do right now is determining and designing your life so you have a quality of life in your 80s and 90s. And so back to deeply nourishing. So deep nourishment happens when you are feeling compassionate, when you find the space, remove those boulders that are standing in your way so that you can create space, so that maybe you're actually expanding beyond your comfort zone. Okay? Deep nourishment comes with perspective. And when you are just putting your blinders on and you see the same thing and you do the same thing over and over every single day, change doesn't happen until you actually make a change, until you see things differently. And the only way we can see things differently is to get out of our comfort zone a little bit and start expanding. Move those boulders out of the way and start expanding into new territory. Start going into exploration. When's the last time you laughed? Tell me, give me a chat below. When's the last time you chuckled? Oh my gosh, I was in a clubhouse room and I facilitated a room. It's a social media app, and I facilitated a room with about 150 people in it, and there was a yoga laughter couple who joined us, and basically we had 150 people unmute their mics and and unmute their mics. So you had like 100 people on the phone, like through audio, and everybody was instructed to laugh, even if you fake it. So our body, our mind reads what we say to ourselves internally, and our mind believes how we hold ourselves in terms of our smile, in terms of our body, in terms of how we take care of ourselves. Those are all messages to our brain and to our subconscious. So what is your brain reading? What's the message you're sending to your brain? If you are, walking around with a frown on your day, on your face all day, if your body posture is crumpled and you're contracted, how are you actually, what's the message you're sending to your mind, to your subconscious? In every single way, in every single bite of our food, that is a message. Remember, like in some of my trainings, I had talked about it many times. Every bite of food, every choice that you make is deep nourishment, because there's a choice that you make that is actually reading into our subconscious. So let me ask you again, how much laughter are you getting in your day? I was thinking about it. I was like, oh man, we're just not having enough fun around here. We are so not having enough fun with this damn pandemic. We need to have more fun. And sometimes it requires us to blast some damn music, something that we love, no matter what style of music it is, and actually start moving our bodies and dancing like nobody's looking. I love that saying, dance like nobody's looking, right? Even if it's you in your living room, and actually just letting go of that energy of the boulders, right? And almost like, it's kind of like, so we did this laughter exercise where it was like, like we're like forcing ourselves to actually let go of those boulders, giving us our space and our diaphragm to actually let go and give laughter. So even if you don't feel like smiling, just remember that is a message that you are sending to your subconscious, that you're not happy, that you are dissatisfied where you are right now. And if you are having stuckness around that, you guys are always welcome to, yes, your whole body should be smiling. That's right. Your body should feel vital. Your body should feel vitality and vibrancy. It should be shiny like the sun. And even though in the winter we're not seeing sun, you are emanating sun through your heart. Oh, thank you, Azizi, for joining me. Azizi's calling in from Bali. Yes, so it's about abundance of our sun and our mindset and our heart. And in this world of contraction, in this world of limitations that we're in right now, I encourage you to laugh. Just make yourself chuckle, make yourself smile. Look at the mirror and say, I love you. And be bold and courageous about it. And don't be scared about it. Sometimes some people are living with the mindset of, I kind of don't like you, right? And that's a tough place to be in. And if this is you, if you're in a place where you are not liking yourself, you're in the right place in terms of this community, because the more you share, the more we can lift you up, the more we can support you and love you. And that's what this community is about, loving each other up. And during this month of love, February, especially this month, we have one more week, 1 week and a few more days left. I want you all to love each other up and share. I want to know you. I want to know you people, almost 300 people in this group. Tell me a little bit about you. Put up a video, share a post, share in this community. The more you share, the more support you get, the more interaction you get, the more value out of it. This is a free community of support. So please take advantage of that. So laughter is, we totally need more laughter. And I have a little, so we totally need more laughter. And, it's funny because I met somebody recently who just has this dry sense of humor. And and he's really funny, and he would say something, and sort of like, those people who have dry sense of humor, but it was like, oh, wow, that kind of cracks me up, like I didn't even realize, you know just laughing and smiling, finding ways for laughter with your children, finding ways of laughter, whether they be young children or adult children, whoever they may be, saying I love you and joking around. We need that. That's an energy that we purposely have to create, because that doesn't get created by anybody else in the world except us, in our households, in our environment, in the relationships that we're in. So I wanted to say that laughter is a deeply physiological change that happens within your body. Your heart feels nourished, and your subconscious is reading that message as something that's much more expansive than focusing on those boulders. And then the other message I wanted to get out is about play. So, even in this limited environment, if you're in the Northeast, it's freezing cold and it's hard to get out, right? Like I said, turn on the music, turn something that you love on. If you're with your spouse, do some ballroom dancing in your living room. It's how you make fun out of the environment that's been given to you, right? And if your boulders are so heavy, get the support that you need, because it's hard to lift those boulders alone sometimes. It really is. And I totally understand. I've been there many times. I went through years of trauma therapy, PTSD, with managing my dad's care for stage 4 cancer for 10 years. I actually had to go to trauma therapy. And I know, like, there was a big black cloud hanging over my head almost on a daily basis. It was gray. I saw the world as gray. And if you're seeing the world as gray and not colorful rainbows, then you need support. It's important for you. You deserve support. You deserve to have the support that you need. So play can look like anything from drawing and doodling on your journals or on pieces of paper. Get out your colored pencils or your markers or crayons even that your kids might have laying around. Or, there's a cool creating a visual storyboard about what does play mean for you. I know that it's limited in terms of, maybe it's gardening. And if you can't have an outdoor garden right now, what's an indoor garden look like? What does your indoor garden look like? What are you cultivating? So cultivating play in your enclosed environment. Maybe you're not in the Northeast. If you're out in the sun, just skipping along. I dare you, if you're outside, whether it's cold or not during the day. Right now it's nighttime, 6 o'clock Eastern time. But if you're in a winter or sunny and warm environment, I encourage you, just be a goofball, skip along. Skip. When's the last time you actually skipped like a little child? You know, and maybe you have little creaky hips and stuff like that. But so what? I just challenge you to do something like that. Do something that's out of your comfort zone, that kind of shakes the energy up. Because when we live in this energy of containment, such closed containers, we can't find play. We can't find joy, and we can't find laughter. Sometimes we have to reach out. So one of the things I was talking to Azizi about was, I need to make this more fun. And in March, I'm going to be coming up with a virtual experience. And I'm kind of organizing that and figuring out some ideas around that. But I want to incorporate music and play, maybe even drumming, like a drum circle. And we could do this totally virtually. How do you guys like that idea? So I will facilitate a session around drumming, and you don't have to own a drum. It could be you use the bottom of a coffee can tin with, you know, your wooden spoon or whatever it might be. When we collectively bring in this energy and bring energy together, it's amazing. All a rising tide lifts all boats. A rising tide lifts all boats. And this is a community where we should all lift each other up and love each other up, because we all need to be supported, heard, and seen. And I want to see more of you guys this month. That's why I'm almost dialing in daily live interviews with all these experts that are giving you different variety of viewpoints on intuition, on self-care and self-love. So I really want you to participate as much as possible. Tune in. The schedule is in the group page, right? And every time you know, we have somebody coming up, I'll post a new reminder. Like tomorrow night, I have Monica Hahn. She is a beauty portrait photographer. She has amazing she has taken photos of hundreds of actors, celebrities, professional athletes and dancers over the years. And she for Vogue magazine, all the big fashion magazines for a number of years in New York City. And she's joining us tomorrow night here in this group exclusively at 6 p.m. tomorrow night to talk about how the world sees us and what's the message that we send out to the world. And you know, it's not just about presentation, but it's about what's going on deeper inside. And she is a masterful photographer, super talented. And I think you'll be interested in what she has to say, because of years of working with celebrity people. She brings celebrity magnetism to everyday people, just like you and me. So you're going to love hearing from her. So definitely tune back in tomorrow night. And then next week, we have intuitive healers. We have money mindset experts coming in. And we're just going to give you as much possible in this group as possible. So I already said possible, right? I repeated that. But anyway, so you guys, so the message again really is deep nourishment. I want you to think about deeper nourishment. You know, it's one thing. Getting into the mechanics of food and nutrition is super important, because what we eat is data that basically sends a message to our brain and our subconscious, how we want to show up in the world in terms of mental clarity and focus, in terms of our body, in terms of how we feel energetically, you know, energy wise on a day-to-day basis. When you have been eating poorly for a great period of time, or have been consuming so much alcohol over time, you don't feel motivated, you don't feel positive, it's difficult. So really think about like what the food that you're eating is, how it's data. And that is one part of nourishment. That's a part of your plate, your everyday plate. And we're going to have another training on that coming up in March, and I will announce that soon. But essentially, this month is really about the other things outside of our plate, in terms of play, in terms of laughter. You know, even if you don't feel like laughing, I want to challenge you tonight as your homework assignment. I want you to play the most silly music as possible, and I want you to turn it up and really crank it and dance like nobody is watching you, and dance and shake your head, shake your booty, shake your ass, whatever it creates. Just get that energy out, because we've been in contractionary phase. I want you to get it out, get that laughter out, and just almost like force yourself to actually laugh. Okay. And it feels like awkward and goofy at first, but I want you to almost force yourself to laugh, just even like a chuckle, and then get into a rolling laughter and laughing. And think about a funny experience that you remember. Think about the funniest thing that you could remember in your memories. And I want you to put that vision in your mind, that memory in your mind. And I want you to make yourself laugh. And I want you to report back into this post underneath and tell me what shifted for you. I want you to tell me what shifted for you. Like how did it make you feel after doing that? And did it feel playful as a child? We all need to nourish that inner child. We know we need to know. Yeah, Amma said, "Oh, I do this practice at home." Fake laughter. It is. It's freeing. It's absolutely freeing. And sometimes we have to be a little crazy. Nobody's watching. Okay? Nobody's judging you. The only judger or criticizer is in your head. And I challenge you to push the limit a little bit more. Push out of your comfort zone, get those boulders out of the way, and open up, create some more space for laughter and play. So, more ideas on play are just the things that you love, playing music, um, or playing cards if you're with your spouse or something. Um, more play is really deeply nourishing that inner child in you that doesn't care, that doesn't have, is carefree, that is not burdened by those adult boulders we've built up over time. But play, meaning really not criticizing yourself, not giving yourself judgment about what you're doing and how you're doing it, and allowing yourself to really be childlike. Roll around in your bed, jump on your bed. If you have a trampoline and it's warm outside, jump on your trampoline. That's energy. That's like, that's energy that's shaking up the boulders, that's in your container, been there for so long. Clear that away. Or dancing in your room, getting together with your spouse and dancing, or dance with yourself. Or what are some other ideas, actually, you guys, around play? I mean, I act like goofy all the time. Play with, even, when you're cooking your dinner. I love, like, whether you're entertaining or not, put on your fun shoes and dance around in your kitchen and do your own cooking show. Or, just, every day is, you know, this is not a dress rehearsal, guys. This is not a dress rehearsal. What you do every day is deep nourishment. It is now. Your best life is right now. And you get to decide. You're the boss and you are the stage director of how that's going to be. So thank you for joining me tonight. I hope this encouraged you. I'm super excited to join back on tomorrow night with Monica, and stay tuned with the schedule over the last week. And if you have friends that shouldn't miss this, invite them into this group, have them be a part of the community, because it's really fun to be with your friends and your family members who need a little inspiration and love. So thank you for joining me, and I hope this was fun. And look out for some more fun, because I'm really sick of this non-fun. All right, so we're going to start having a really good time the rest of this month into March, and March is going to be awesome. So let's do this, gang. All right, so I love you guys, and take care of your health. Number one asset. That is, you can't have fun and feel deeply nourished and have play when you're not feeling good. So number one priority is make your health a priority. Love you guys. Let's do this. Talk to you soon.